Sitting in front of their home in Garissa County, Rukia, not her real name, stares at her phone. She listens to her sister's voice as she cries for help. She doesn't know exactly where her younger sister is. They suspect it is somewhere in southern Libya. What they do know is that every time she calls or they receive a video, she's being mercilessly tortured by men who remain off camera. To protect her identity, we will call her Hafsa. When the 15-year-old girl disappeared from home in May 2026, her family was thrust into a reality that an increasing number of parents in Garissa are confronting. A thriving human trafficking syndicate that has been targeting teenagers and youth in northeastern region. On the fateful day Hafsa left home for school, in the evening, her family waited for hours on end for her to come back. She never did.
Mamangu alienda police station, maskari walianza kutrack simu ya msichana mwingine, akaonekana amezima simu yake Nairobi CBD. Sasa mimi nilikuwa Nairobi, tulienda hadi town. Tulienda police station, wakatuambia hii kesi inafaa kutoka Garissa, ndo polisi wa Garissa wapigie polisi wa Nairobi, ndo sisi tunaweza kuwasaidia. Morning tulirudi kwa station, mapolisi wakaanza kuangalia hiyo namba, wakasema hii namba ilizimwa asubuhi morning saa 2 na sisi tulifika hapo kwa station ilikuwa ni saa 4. Sasa tulienda hapo area za Nairobi pale hoteli zile gari yenye zinatoka hapo, tuliwatafuta, tuliwakosa, tuligive up, tukarudi.
Weeks after her departure, Rukia's phone rang. On the screen was an international number. On the line was her younger sister, her voice frail and trembling.
After I think 17 days, amenipigia mimi, ameniambia how is mom, how is dad. Nikamwambia uko wapi, akapokonywa simu. Akaambiwa 3 days, we want 3 days utumane 1 million. Nikamwambia tupatie time at least tuongee kuhusu this thing kwa familia ndo tujue. Amesema I don't care, the only thing I care about is my money. Monday morning saa 2 amenipigia akaniuliza kuhusu hiyo pesa. Nikamwambia hiyo pesa ni mingi, haiko ready bado. So walinitumania video wakitandika sister yangu. Na ameniambia ngoja ifike usiku utaona nitakutumania video mimi nikimrep.
The smugglers are demanding 2.5 million shillings for her release, a sum far beyond what her family could manage to raise. Since then, Rukia has received calls from the same number. In the videos, the girl is being brutally assaulted while crying and calling for help from her family to urgently raise money to secure her release.
It was so emotional kwa sababu unaona sister yako tena ni msichana, tena ni mdogo, underage, ako 15 years old. Ukiona ako kwa mkono ya wanaume, tena wanaume wanamtandika, wanamtreat venye wanataka, yuko kwa mkono yako, obviously utasikia vibaya.
The kidnappers sent these videos to the family via WhatsApp to pile the psychological pressure on them to pay a ransom.
Like wameni stress out, nilikuwa kazi hata nimeshindwa kufanya kazi, lakini hawataki like my uncle na baba yangu wakimpigia hawashiki simu. They only want to talk to me because wanajua wakiniongelesha mimi like wako na uwezo mwingi kwangu kwa sababu mimi naanza kulia wakiniongelesha. This sai tayari walinipigia. Waliniambia like nataka umpigie your father umwambie uko na pesa ngapi. Atumane hiyo pesa kidogo, hiyo pesa nyingine tutangoja.
Kama sijaleta pesa msichana yako atatandika, atatoa fingo. Sasa mimi hiyo stress yangu imekaa hivyo.
Rukia says the stress has taken a toll on her mother, who now battles both hypertension and diabetes.
Sisi familia hakuna pesa. Imeenda msituni, watu iko na mbusi, imeenda imeomba, imesema sina kitu. Mimi mwenyewe tu mguu yangu umeuma bure. Hata sasa hivi nimekuja kwa hospitali, nimelalishwa. Siwezi tembea kwa wananchi, siwezi omba.
The only thing I want to say is that we need help, and hiyo pesa yenye wamedemand ni pesa mingi.
According to her family, Hafsa left home without informing her parents.
Labda aliambiwa usimwambie mtu, hii story ukae nayo. Because alijua huyu msichana akikuja nyumbani akisema hii story na hii story ama kuna mtu anafanya hivi na hivi, tungemwambia hiyo story ni mbaya, ukienda huko utafanywa vibaya, angetusikiza, angekataa kuwafuata. Na hao ni hasara kwao. Sister yangu alikuwa na birth certificate, alibeba yake, haiko kwa nyumba, kwa sababu hawezi pita hapo kwa bridge without that. I think alibeba tu dera mbili ama mtandio na dera, cause hiyo bagi ya shule ni ndogo, hawezi beba nguo mingi na nguo zake zote ziko hapo.
Msichana ni kidogo, hata kama imetoka imeenda nje ingine hawezi fanya kazi.
The family says they filed a police report. A suspect, someone the girl had been in frequent contact with before her disappearance, was arrested, then released under circumstances that remain unclear.
Alishikwa akaletwa police station, akasema hawa wasichana walienda Libya. Hawa maaskari wangechukua hiyo kesi seriously, hawa wasichana wangepatikana. Mtu anakuambia like na mdomo yake anatoa evidence, anasema hawa wasichana wameenda Libya. So unafaa kuchukulia hii story serious na mtu wamchukulie serious na watoe truth out of his mouth. Walifanya mchezo na huyo mtu alienda, hawakumsaidia.
The family believes Hafsa was lured by human traffickers, driven by the hope of reaching Europe through Libya.
Mnaweza pata better life from this place, hapa mahali kuna jua, kuna mashida. We don't know, like maybe mtapata life nzuri huko and hamtapita hapo mahali yenye watu wanapitishwa ama mahali yenye watu wanatandikwa, maybe.
Hafsa's ordeal is one among hundreds. Girls and young men ensnared by the Magafe network, a ruthless trafficking ring that turns dreams of greener pastures in Europe into nightmares of ransom, slavery and death. Their hearts are heavy and words are few, but they find comfort in prayers to navigate through this difficult time. Every day they pray for the safe return of their daughter. She was only 15. She had dreams. She was young and naive, but she was promised safe passage to Europe by smugglers, only to end up in the trap of ruthless human traffickers. To protect her identity, we will call her Fatima, a grade 8 learner.
Asubuhi vile ameenda shule hajarudi. Tarehe 4 mwezi wa 5 2026, na mpaka wa sasa kupatikana. Ilhali tunajua iko kwa mkono ya Magafe in Sahara Desert. Sijui ni Libya, sijui ni baina ya Sudan na Libya, hatuelewi at all.
2 weeks later, the family received a message from a strange number.
Tumepigiwa na namba ya Libya. Hao Magafe wakaweka video call, wakatuonyesha kwamba ndio msichana yenu. Wanamwekelea bunduki hivi wakiwa wameweka video call. Sasa mtoto wako anafanywa hivyo, utafilaje? Wakaitisha pesa 3 kwa msichana moja.
Since then, the kidnappers are constantly demanding money and issuing threats. Video clips seen by NTV show Fatima being tortured, tied up, kicked and beaten with a metal rod. The footage also shows one of her captors whose face is covered with a piece of cloth, pointing his gun at the girl.
Mtoto wako kila siku anakupigia kwa wiki mara 4, akiwa analia, akiwa anapigwa. Anakuambia tuma hela, hata weza kukusalimia, hata hawakubaliwa kusalimia. Uulize hali yake hapa. Wakiitisha hela ya kwamba leo jioni msipotuma nitamuua.
2 months on, the family is struggling to raise the cash to secure Fatima's release.
Kwa sasa hatuna naye kwa mkono, lakini tuna jamii. Paka jamii wamekaa, lakini bado hakuna pesa imeingia kwa mkono. Mbaya hata 1,000,000 haijafika ile tuko nayo. Nao wanataka 3,000,000.
The family says they filed a complaint at the local police station the day she disappeared.
Tulipofika kwa DCI wamemtrack hiyo namba ya msichana. Ikakuwa mwisho ile mali imezimwa Khalifa. Yarsa. Tukamuomba watafute mtu wa mwisho ameongea naye. Kupatikana imepatikana huyo mtu. Wameongea naye na ni wewe ndio mtu wa mwisho amekucontact. Una habari gani na huyo msichana? Eti huyo msichana ametoka Wajir. She was running for early marriage. You see? Udanganyifu kwanza. Ati she was running for early marriage. They interrogated him. Wanamfahamia vizuri ya kwamba mtu msichana amembeba. Lakini tutapitia simu yake. Kesho saa 3 tukutane polisi. Walipoenda ati usiku ameachiliwa. Serikali wametudhulumu 100%. Wamemwachilia mtu mhalifu kwa community, kwa jamii ya Garissa. Sababu sasa wamemwachilia. Kesho atafanya nini? Si ataanzia hapa maneno zake.
The distraught family believes if swift action was taken, Fatima would have been rescued from the traffickers.
Hata nadhani hawajafika tarehe 4 Nairobi. No. Wamemweka tu Garissa ndio wakatoka naye siku ya pili. Isitoshe, Kenya si ni kubwa. Tukisema ametoka na Uganda, kuna boda Malaba. Wamempitishaje? Hawana ID, hawana passport. Wamempitishaje? Birth certificate mpaka Nairobi.
At home in Garissa, she lived with relatives. Fatima was described as a joyful and peaceful person who had a good relationship with others.
Si msichana ambaye leo naweza sema ya kwamba ni mtu alikuwa hata anaenda kuzurura. Kazi yake ilikuwa anaenda shule, anarudi nyumbani. Hakuwa anatoka hata. Hatuko tunajua na hiyo tabia. She was very simple, very kind by the way. Hata jirani hakuwa anazunguka. Akikuja tu anafanya homework wake. Hata akivuka bahari aende Europe, atafanya nini? Underage. Amechangwa tu akili. Amedanganywa.
The family is also consumed by fear, anxiety and uncertainty.
Yuko hai lakini uhai wake tunashuku sababu siku ile amepelekwa mpaka waleo kama anapigwa. Hiyo ni uhai gani? Hata kusali swala ya Mwenyezi Mungu ilikuwa inanisumbua. Yaani roho yangu nadhani iko chini kabisa, ishaondolewa ile pale ilikuwa. Je, mama na baba ambaye amemzaa? Chunga mwana ajua ni mzazi.
When Halima, not her real name, speaks about her younger brother, her voice trembles with emotion. Every phone call is torment. Any notification on WhatsApp is a brother's cry for help. Horrifying images of him undergoing unimaginable brutality under the hands of traffickers. The 15-year-old boy was a grade 8 student at a local school within Garissa County. He disappeared on 7th April 2026.
Tumeanza kutafuta, hata tumeenda kuandika kwa polisi. Tumemtaraki yeye. Amesema simu amezima kwa mlango ya mama. Yule alikuwa anaishi na yeye. After 14 days ndio tumepata videos na audio amerecord. Amesema ako huko Libya na ameshikwa.
In the video, the boy is being brutally tortured, the arms and legs bound as he's whipped across his back. The abductor's demands are clear.
Sawa, wamesema wanataka pesa 2.5 million. Kila usiku wanasema nitamuua. Hata mkisema nini nitamuua.
The family is fundraising to secure his freedom. So far, they have managed to accumulate 1 million shillings only.
Tumeuza ile ngombe, ile mbuzi ile tulikuwa nayo yote. Tumeuza. Hata tungekuwa na plot uza.
They've also been given firm instructions on where to channel the money.
Ametupatia account na jina sijui ni Dubai. Amesema mweke ikuwe dola.
Latest video clip seen by NTV shows the boy in a terrible condition. He's emaciated and weak.
Huyo mtu mungesha yeye amesema mtoto hakuli. Hawezi ongea. After 3 days ndio tunampatia kitu kidogo akule.
His body bears visible scars from physical abuse, but the distress of seeing him so brutally abused has broken her.
Kama mimi silalangi, hata sikulangi. Mama anakuanga na sukari. Akisikia mambo ya mtoto akilia hivi, mama sukari inapanda. Mama ana faint. Sisi tunalia kwa sababu hatuna kitu ya kumtolea huyo mtoto na hatujui hata kurudisha huku hatujui.
The captors themselves threatened the family, warning that failure to pay will mean death.
Amesema kidney na nini liver ndio pesa. Kama huna pesa. Sasa mama amefaint hivyo.
The boy comes from a humble background. In Garissa town, he was being hosted by a relative. The distraught family believes he was brainwashed by the smugglers.
Huyo kijana alikuwa very bright, hata amepita shule. Sasa sisi hatujui maana mtoto ameenda, hata hajawahi sema kitu kidogo akienda huko akienda na wao watu.
At the center of this trafficking that goes on unabated is Magafe, a criminal network that has operated since 2016. The human trafficking ring began recruitment in Ethiopia and Somalia, then extended its criminal activities into the Dadaab refugee camp in Kenya, where they have been targeting young refugees who are desperate for a better life. Magafe is a nickname. In Somali, it literally means the one who does not miss. In Garissa County, the smuggling cartel is reportedly leading a kidnapping and trafficking racket that exploits teenagers and youth aged between 15 to 24.
Magafe ni yule ambaye anaweka trap hiyo watoto. Kisomana inaitwa Magafe. Huyu ndo anadanganya mtoto. Ni Waarabu. Alafu wanatumia wa Somali wenzao. Kwa sababu huyu Mwarabu wa Libya hawezi kuja Garissa achukue watoto. Lazima kuna network.
In other words, it is known in Somali tahrib. Yes, tahrib. It's taking these children for greener pastures. Most of them have been taken to Libya.
The locals actually who are in communication with the individuals from the destination countries communicate using video calls, using phones, and you will realize that the rogue locals then try to recruit children who appear to be very vulnerable in the community.
Very dangerous cartel. Virus yao ni virus ya watoto. Ni wagaidi ya watoto.
The network operates in a coordinated manner. The process starts from recruitment through word of mouth and social media platforms, mainly TikTok and WhatsApp.
Uwezi jua huyu mtoto nani anadanganya. Wanadanganya wakiwa ndani ya nyumba yako. Wakati social media imekuja, imekuta kitu mbili. Moja mzuri, moja mbaya.
Anatafuta mtoto yatima, mtoto ambaye hana kitu, mamake ama babake hana kitu.
Wanataka shule, wanataka madarasa, wanataka mahali kiwanja mpira, wanataka ile mahali watoto inapatikana.
Wanaenda kukaa kando ya mashule. Watoto wakitoka, unaona mtu anatoka kwa gari, anaanza kutongoza watoto, kuambia hawa nina program kama hii mimi, nitawapatia kazi, nitawapeleka nje ngambo.
Watoto nimesikia wanapaiwa kuku, wanapaiwa vitu tamu, chips mayai, nyama, wanapaiwa nguo mzuri, wanapaiwa gibak, hata wanaenda Amerika.
The reasons actually precipitating this kind of dilemma in the county is that we have a very high percentage of the locals who are living abroad. When these people come back to Garissa, they are flaunting their success and wealth to the young people. And so the young people and even children are lured to live this kind of life, which is lived by these people who are living abroad. So there is a bit of attitude amongst the young people that if you go and live in foreign countries, then life would be better comparative to the situation in which they are living today. Remember, there's issue of unemployment, and there is also a lot of poverty in the community.
Through WhatsApp, the agents share videos of life in Europe with their targets.
Wanaonyesha tu picha mzuri huko gambo, Amerika, Europe, huko Spain, sehemu zingine dunia, wanaonyesha tu mawa ni mayumba mzuri. Nasema hii ndo sasa utakuwa ukienda gambo.
These young people now, being very young without a lot of information and knowledge, they fall for these traps.
Wanasema sasa hivi nitakuweka gari, kufika huko nitakuweka ndege.
Once they identify a target, they isolate them and warn them about sharing any plans with their parents or siblings.
They tell you how they love you, and they start now stalking you, giving you, sweet talking you with very good ones. And it is not a short time, for a very long time, to an extent that they completely change your mind, yeah? And they start thinking there is a better warrant somewhere than where you are living. Once they have managed to change the mind of a certain boy or girl, then they use that girl now to recruit more persons or more children for that matter, yeah? So the number becomes bigger. So it would start with one child, then they start now talking amongst themselves.
Once the victims are assembled and ready to be transported, their mobile phones are then turned off and confiscated by the traffickers to prevent the police from tracking them during their journey when the parents raise the alarm. Security sources warn that the traffic networks have developed deep and sophisticated cross-border connections stretching from Kenya through Somalia, Ethiopia and Sudan into Libya, one of the main transit hubs for illegal migration towards Europe. Investigators have also established key and possible routes used by the Trans-Saharan Human Trafficking Syndicate.
They do not use the normal routes. They cannot take them like to the airport in Kenya. They will use dubious means. There are times when they take them to Uganda, use some other routes to take them outside the country, or Somali. Yeah, there are so many routes that are being used to traffic these children. The final destination could not only be Libya, in fact, South Sudan is one of them.
The first route is from Dadaab to Garissa, Mwingi, Thika, Nairobi, Busia in Kenya, Kampala in Uganda, then to South Sudan, and finally Libya. The second is from Garissa to Mombasa, Busia, then Kampala, South Sudan, and Libya. The third is from Garissa to Isiolo, Samburu, Turkana in Kenya, to South Sudan, and then Libya. Alternative routes that the traffickers use is Garissa to Wajir, Ethiopia, South Sudan, then Libya. To avoid detection, the traffickers also travel from Garissa to Isiolo, Meru, Nanyuki, then Nairobi. Once they arrive in Nairobi's central business district, the unsuspecting minors are handed over to brokers who facilitate their journey to Libya. Isili is a major transit point where local brokers arrange the early stages of the journey while holding the victims in a small room before they can smuggle them out of the country.
And this trafficking process is also not a less expensive operation, because the local individuals who are facilitating the trafficking, they are receiving a lot of money from the exchequer, who are now destined within the destination countries. So there is money required to rent places where the children can be kept temporarily as they survey the area. There is also feeding. There is also hiring of vehicles to transport these children. So that money is being sent by the individuals from the traffickers from the destination country. And so if these children, of course, will travel by ship or any other means, there is also money required, yeah? And so, when these children or the young persons arrive in the destination country, that money is required back by the traffickers, yeah, who sponsored the whole operation. And of course, plus more money, because they want to profit on top. Remember, this trafficking is profit-making in business.
To get to Libya, people must first cross the Sahara Desert. According to ENACT, a continental organization monitoring organized crime, the victims are bundled into different lorries throughout the journey. They face harsh conditions en route to Libya, with many falling ill or dying along the way. Once they arrive in Libya, things change. They're held in makeshift prisons run by militias or trafficking gangs who demand huge ransom payments from their families in exchange for their freedom. Victims are frequently subjected to violence, acts of slavery, organ trafficking, forced labor and extortion. The latest case involves 3 grade 8 girls from Iftin Comprehensive School in Garissa Township who disappeared in May this year, only for their torture videos to emerge on social media days later. Their captors demanding money in exchange of their release. According to their parents, the 3 girls were close friends and all went missing on the same day. 2 of the girls were classmates and sat next to each other. The girls were traced in Libya, where human traffickers are allegedly subjecting them to brutal abuse. Meanwhile, at Yadri Primary School in Garissa Town, 7 pupils are reported missing. Minors are said to have fallen into the hands of the ruthless Magafe trafficking syndicate operating across the Horn of Africa.
Before, kids used to be taken by school bus to school, but now parents are taking their kids to school and make sure they're picking them from school and taking them back. Because now you cannot even trust anyone with their children because of the fear the parents and the community have against these traffickers.
Although there is a lack of reliable data, perceptions on the ground suggest that incidences of young people going on Tarib are pervasive, with many households in Garissa directly or indirectly impacted by this migratory trend. All these mothers have a story to tell. Their children are missing. Majority are too weak to share their stories, and they're not in a position to raise the ransom being demanded by the traffickers. But the question they're asking is, for how long will this continue before serious systematic action is taken?
Hakuna kijiji ambalo haijaguzwa. Yani leo wanatoka Boleftin, wanaenda Madina, wanaenda Waberi, wanaenda hapa township hapa. Kila mahali leo unasikia tu watoto wawili wameenda. Baada siku 2-3 unasikia watatu wameenda.
Ni kitu imetuhuzunisha kabisa. Ni kitu ambayo imetokera kama viongozi vya dini, imetokera kama wazazi.
4 years ago, we were receiving very few cases, but today, actually the case load is going up. And this is mainly because it appears like the operation is becoming bigger and bigger.
NTV has seen dozens of horrifying videos of minors being tortured, some too graphic to broadcast. Only after ransom is paid are migrants released and able to continue their journey. Some are sold as slaves while others are forced to join terrorist groups. The majority of migrants do not have residence permits or other documentation, which puts them at risk of arrest and arbitrary detention.
Some of them, died on the way. Some of them died from those tortures when they're demanding the ransom. But I have never witnessed somebody who transited from Libya to Europe. Some of them disappear in between because we have untraced children up to now.
Kuna kijana moja mimi nafahamia familia vizuri sana. Ametoweka last year. Tumechanga pesa. Tumetumana 1 point ngapi? Walikuwa wanadai 2.2 M. Imetumwa 1.2. Paka saizi. Pesa wamechukua. Hatujui kama uko hai, kama amekufa. Hasikiki tena. Na hakuna siku Magafe mwaenda na mtoto ikarudishwa. And all the Kenyan citizens, awe mkubwa awe mdogo.
Hodan Omar says her son, a grade 10 student, was abducted in Isili last year during the August holidays. The 16-year-old boy who hails from Garissa had gone to visit his aunt when he was lured by the traffickers. In Libya, he was held hostage with the smugglers demanding $19,000 to release him. Following months of agony and fundraising, Hodan was eventually able to send 2.2 million shillings to secure his freedom.
marka lacag 2 milyan iyo 250 kun baa laga bixiyay ilaahay baa ii reey Masar buu jooga shamariyaan dhigo waan waashade wax ilaahay baa keenay ilaahay baan gacmaha horso ilaahay baan bari ilaahay aan barina ilaahay waa ii fududay ummadana Maxamed oo dhan ay gurmatay walaalahay ay gurmadeen asaga tolku ka dhashana lacag qayb bay bixiyeen maadaama abis uu ka qayb qaadan asaga uu shilin ka bixin abi dhala shilinka ma bixin.
Although he was released, he is still far from being reunited with his family. The mother claims on his way to Europe using the Mediterranean sea route, the son opted out. He was rescued and is currently living with a good Samaritan somewhere in Egypt.
meel buu iska masaajid buu iska galo masaajid buu tagay masaajidka nimanka qaadeen niman baa hadda loo geeyo la joog Egypt waa marka dad wuu la kor saaray marka booshadii waa la siin meel u jiiftan waa la siin laakiin wax ka badan lama siinayo.
Every month, Hodhan sends money for his upkeep. It has been difficult for the son to travel back home because he doesn't have proper documentation to facilitate his journey back home.
marka hadda waxaan codsanayaa codsigayga uu yahay maadaama uu iskuulay u ahaa oo laga tahriibay oo ana ogan laga tahriibay dawladda iyo MPga iyo gafana waxaan ka codsanayaa cunuga Masar uu joogaa in la ii soo celiyaan rabaa saasaan ka codsanayaa.
Her face shows clear signs of pain and distress, and her eyes well up instantly. She explains how her daughter left Garissa without her knowledge and migrated through Sudan and further into Libya.
markii meesha aan tagnana meel aan joognay meel kale aan kala ka sugaynay guriga lagu xiray ilaa lacagta ay bixiseen guriga aan ku xirnay maxbuus baan.
The daughter, 18 years old, had just completed high school in 2024 and was set to join university before she was recruited by the traffickers under the guise of being smuggled to Europe. Instead, she was held in captivity and tortured.
meesha ka doonta maxaa ku geeyay maxaa ka doonta waxay dhahday waxa la dhahay markaad meesha tagto hadda shaqo bilaabi يومكم بحقادنا سدح بقول أوكم أو العقل عدينا هذا قرية ونسي هذا جاجة كبيحي هو ياسي سويت نقول راحة والله دايته سيدا سانكوتك نايته لكن هذا سيدا أنكوتك نمو قتايته.
After selling all their livestock, the family was able to send 800,000 shillings to secure her freedom. Although she was released, she's yet to return home. She's stuck in one of the detention camps.
قبل والله سيدا مو أقوله والله lambarka labaad lambarka ku xigay wadatay lambar 1 way baastay ana maxaan jaamacad iyo meel dheer baan ooga iyo takhtarnimo aan ooga fikiray ma ooga fikirayn inay meelaha ay tagto.
Libya is a major gateway to Europe for those fleeing repression, conflict and poverty in the continent. For those involved in the smuggling and trafficking networks, it has been a lucrative and exploitative business with revenues running into the billions. According to area residents, local agents receive 75,000 to 100,000 shillings for every person delivered to Libya.
Na mzazi hawezi ona mtoto wake ako na shida. Akiambiwa leta hiyo pesa, anaenda kila mahali anatafuta, anawapatia hivyo. Hii like this thing imekuwa kazi, ni something that yenye watu wanafanya, wameona pesa kwa watoto.
There are instances where even the police have busted children being kept in a dark room. Every fortnight, maybe 3 weeks, you find there are some children and even young persons who have been intercepted in Bangali, Mwingi, the checkpoint which is within next to the bridge, Tana River. There are a number of cases that have been referred to court. And there are instances also where some people have also been jailed. So, but what is being done, I think it is not enough. We need to relook into the issue with a keen eye to find out better strategies of tackling the problem.
Families told to pay ransom say they are instructed to wear the money in 3 tranches. They're also issued with 3 different bank accounts, each with a different name. NTV has seen money transfer receipts with confirmation that the money had been received in a number of countries, including Dubai, Turkey, Somalia, and Kuwait. Sources told NTV that agents of the trafficking syndicate are able to pick up the money at the location and transfer it again to disguise its origin. The money is eventually transferred to other bank accounts, then physically carried into Libya, circumventing the sanctions placed on the country. Counties of Wajir and Mandera have also reported cases of youth being held in Libya by the Magafe, but Garissa County is the most affected. According to a report by ENACT, the traffickers bribe border officials to facilitate cross-border transportation. This systematic corruption in Kenya and neighboring regions is a key facilitator of human trafficking.
Tumeshangaa kabisa. Tumeshangaa kwa nini hiyo watoto hawana passport, hawana ID, hawana birth certificate, wanafika aje kwa 17 years, 16 years hana birth certificate. 18 amefika ID, hana ID. Sijui amefika aje huko.
I also suspect they could be kind of acquiring forged documents for travel. That is a birth certificate for children.
The question I am asking is, these human traffickers are not using an aeroplane or a flight. They are using vehicles.
We have many police barriers from Garissa town, starting with Tana Bridge and many other barriers. So the question we're asking is how these traffickers pass these barriers without being noticed.
Wapi ule upelelezi ambaye hii kitu ni kitu ambaye si kitu mara moja, ni kitu ambaye mara kwa mara. Juzi unasikia mtoto imeibiliwa, kesho jana unasikia mwezi kadhaa imeibiliwa watoto. Sasa wala wanaiba watoto hao wamepita wapi? Mtoto ni binadamu, ni mtu kubwa. Mtoto lazima kuna means of transport, kuna cartel, kuna kitu ambaye huwezi enda mtoto mara moja alafu aende kama hii ubebo aende kwa nini Libya. Lazima kuna bahali amepita hii bridge ya Garissa, amepita bengine upande ya sehemu zingine, lakini kila bahali kuna serikali pale. Huyu mtoto anapita wapi? Moja ibotee, mbili ibotee, kwa nini tatu? Huyu mhalifu kwa nini ashike?
Sometimes even we told ourselves that these traffickers are working with the security agencies, because this is something which is so, and hard to us, because we have unanswered questions.
Our efforts to get answers from security officials in Garissa County were unsuccessful. NTV approached the Garissa Police Commander, who referred us to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI. However, the department also declined to comment, saying investigations are being handled by the Anti-Terrorism Police Unit. We also reached out to police spokesperson Michael Mushiri, who asked us to contact DCI headquarters instead. NTV then wrote to the Director of Criminal Investigations, Mohammed Amin, requesting an interview with officials from the Human Trafficking and Child Protection Unit. By the time of this broadcast, NTV had not received any response. While government officials choose silence, community leaders haven't stopped calling on the government to intensify efforts to dismantle the trafficking ring and tighten surveillance along trafficking routes.
We are calling upon the government, please, to take action. To take action from these traffickers. These traffickers are well-known people in this town. And the government, I'm wondering why the government is not arresting them, because they have the capacity, they have the machinery, and they have the tools to track them. It's that simple.
Naomba pia vile vile wananchi, kama suspect ama umejua mtu mmoja fulani anafanya hii cartels, broker hii, tafadhali kimbisha habari kwa information kwa serikali, kwa sababu hii jambo kesho ni wewe, leo ni mwingine, kesho kote namna usiifiche. Ukificha basi wewe umeficha madhara.
Even last week kuna watu wali attempt kuchukua watoto wawili, but immediately watu walipiga kelele na hiyo gari imetoroka ambayo ilikuwa na attempt kusnatch watoto ambayo walikuwa na duksi. Na tumeweka security surveillance along this road from here at the bridge, Kanyonyo.
Families are also calling on security agencies to follow the ransom money trail, which they say will lead to the real masterminds behind these trafficking networks. The human trafficking scourge underscores the need for closer supervision of children and stronger community vigilance.
Hatukubali mtoto aende kivyake peke yake awekwe basi na anaelekea Nairobi. The government don't allow that. Kama mzazi anataka kuenda Nairobi, aende, mtoto yake anataka kuenda Nairobi, lazima mzazi afuate huyo mtoto. The bus companies were alerted. Any children ambayo wanatembea ndani ya ambayo wako ndani ya bus na wamekaa kivyao peke yao, wa alert police, and police will take swift action. Mtu wa miaka 15, miaka 14 ako shule, hajamaliza secondary, you are buying him phone. Na kila kitu inatumika kwa hiyo phone, na mama hana habari ama baba hana habari. Mtoto akiwa ndani ya nyumba tu amejifungia ndio anapata information yote, anatumiwa kwa WhatsApp.
That's the reality. Utaona hii mama nyumba moja, watoto wadogo wako na mobile kushinda hata mimi. Ana mobile kushinda mzazi. Msichana ana mobile yake, kijana ana mobile yake, kijana mwingine ana mobile yake. Wahalifu wanatumia. They are using that mobile. Engage hao watoto.
Child going to school unanunulia telephone kufanya nini? So hiyo simu kama wazazi hawatanunulia watoto yao, hii maneno itaisha mambo hiyo trafficking.
So ni social media pia, poor parental, failure of the ubelelezi wetu, intelligent yetu.
Wazazi, kila mtu ajue mahali mtoto yake anaenda shule, afuate. These days unaona ya kwamba there are parents who are not following up what their children are doing. Mtoto kila siku anaenda shule, hana habari hapa katikati kitu gani inatokea. So that's why the criminals are taking advantage of these things.
We are trying to sensitize the community through radio talk shows. There is also sensitization which is being carried out by the Ministry of Education directly within the schools, so that the young people as well as the children are empowered and know the dangers they are likely to fall into.
I'm also reminding the children that they should not talk to strangers. They should report any case or people whom they are not aware of, or any case that is not normal to any authority, including the police, the teachers.
County government and the leadership, to create job opportunities for these youth. We have many girls now who are, finished school, well qualified, but they're staying home jobless. Most of them, they want to go to Europe to look for greener pasture. And they are soft targets for these traffickers.
Families are also calling on the national government to deploy diplomatic resources to locate and rescue Kenyan citizens.
ragga madaxyaha waxaan ka codsanayaa inay ilmaha noo doonaan oo ilmaha inoo soo qabtaan.
At all costs tuko tayari hata kama ni kutuma ndege tutatuma.
We don't have the leadership will to see the root cause of this problem. Why is it Garissa County? Why not other counties? They have totally failed us because nobody is coming out and speaking about this. Is it until their children are picked? I don't know. So they have been elected to represent people. They have not even raising this. This is a national disaster. It's a crisis in this county. They need to speak about it and come up with a solution.
I think we need better ways of tackling the problem than you have been doing. We need to bring all the stakeholders together, put our hands together, and see what is it we can do so that we are able to arrest the situation.
But fighting a vice this deeply entrenched will demand more than outrage. It will take concerted effort, stronger laws, tighter enforcement, and public vigilance to protect the next potential victims. Ruzongoi, NTV.